The sun hung low and blood-red over the desert, casting long shadows across the drought-cracked earth. Marcus Webb had seen many sunsets from his ranch, but none quite like this one. He stood in the yard, his weathered hands trembling as they gripped the rifle. And before him knelt a stranger whose crimes had made him the most wanted outlaw in 3 territories. Jacob Crane looked nothing like the monster from the wanted posters. He was thin, almost skeletal, with hollow cheeks and eyes that had seen too much suffering. Blood matted his dark hair where a bullet had grazed his temple during his escape from town. The sheriff's posse had chased him for 2 days straight, and somehow, impossibly, he had ended up here at Marcus Webb's isolated ranch, begging for mercy from the one man he had every reason to fear. Marcus had recognized him immediately. Everyone knew Jacob Crane's story, the outlaw who had murdered the bank manager in Cold Creek, who had shot a lawman in self-defense, who had become a symbol of lawlessness and violence in the territory. The reward for his capture was $2,000, more money than Marcus had seen in his entire life. Money that could save his ranch from the bank, money that could feed his family through the winter, money that could change everything. But there was something else Marcus didn't know about. Jacob Crane. The man kneeling before him was innocent of the murder he was wanted for. He had run because he knew the law in this territory didn't care about truth, it cared about closure. His brother had committed the crime, had died in a mine collapse 3 months later, and Jacob had simply been in the wrong place at the wrong time. For 18 months, he had hidden in the mountains, eaten scraps, and watched his life become a nightmare. He had come to Marcus's ranch not expecting mercy, but simply hoping for an end to the suffering. "I beg you," Jacob whispered, his voice cracking like old leather. "Just make it quick. I can't run anymore. I'm tired, I'm so tired." He looked up at Marcus with eyes that held no fear, only exhaustion and a strange kind of peace. "I know what I'm wanted for. I know you'll do what you have to do. But please, just make it quick." Marcus's finger found the trigger. He had fought in the war, had killed men before, but this was different. This was murder with a reward attached. This was the kind of thing that would make him a hero in town, that would erase his debts and secure his future. All he had to do was pull the trigger. One simple motion. He had done it thousands of times before. His hand shook violently. Something in Jacob's voice had awakened something long dormant in Marcus's heart, a voice he thought he had silenced. Years ago, when the world had taught him that mercy was a luxury only the rich could afford, he lowered the rifle slowly, his arms falling to his sides like dead weight. "Stand up," Marcus said quietly. Jacob's eyes widened in confusion. "What?" "I said stand up, and don't talk. Just move." Marcus led Jacob into the barn, past his wife's curious stare from the kitchen window, past the questions that would consume him later. He gave the man fresh water, clean clothes, and a hidden room beneath the hay storage where no one would ever think to look. He brought him food and medical supplies, moving like a man in a trance, driven by an instinct he couldn't name and couldn't deny. For 3 weeks, Marcus harbored a fugitive. He worked his ranch by day and sat with Jacob by night, listening to the man's story piece by piece. The truth emerged slowly, the real killer's name, the false accusation, the desperate flight of an innocent man. Marcus came to understand that he had nearly committed an act that would have haunted him forever, that he had almost traded his soul for money and security. The day came when Marcus drove Jacob to the county seat, arriving at dawn with letters. He had written to lawyers and newspaper editors, testimony from people he had tracked down, evidence he had painstakingly gathered. He presented it all to the sheriff, standing beside the man he could have killed for profit. There was confusion, then investigation, then shock. The truth unraveled quickly once someone bothered to look. Jacob's name was cleared within a month. Marcus lost the $2,000 reward that day. His ranch remained on the edge of ruin, his financial troubles unsolved. But something changed within him that he hadn't anticipated. The relief he felt was worth more than money. The peace in his conscience was worth more than security. When Jacob Crane rode away from that town as a free man, he turned back once to look at Marcus, and in that moment, the rancher understood what he had really won. Years later, after the bank had miraculously forgiven his debts through means, Marcus never fully understood after his ranch had thrived and prospered, he would see Jacob Crane again, now an honest businessman rebuilding his life in a new territory. Jacob brought his own family to meet Marcus, brought his children to shake the hand of the man who had chosen conscience over gold. Marcus. Webb never regretted the choice he made that blood-red sunset evening. And Jacob Crane never forgot that. There was still kindness left in the world, that mercy still existed, and that sometimes the most powerful thing a person could do was to refuse to become the monster others expected them to be. In a harsh land where survival often meant sacrifice, they had both learned that true strength lay not in taking what you could, but in giving what you should. And that redemption, whether for the guilty or the innocent, was always worth more than any reward.